Hi, I'm Brandy Hill, and I'm here with Dr. Robbins and Dr. Hill of Core Medics. Welcome again, gentlemen.
Thank you.
I think today our topic that we want to discuss is the coronavirus pandemic that is plaguing the world right now. These are definitely uncertain times that we're living in, and we're all doing our best to avoid this nasty virus, but I think a lot of people are facing a lot of fear right now. So Dr. Robbins, can you tell us a little bit about the coronavirus?
Sure. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm a chiropractor, and so my understanding of the virus comes from my recent studies, not anything we were trained in necessarily. But one big thing I'll say right off the top of the bat is the flu, which everybody knows about the flu because we're familiar with the flu. It's not this big scary thing. I mean, it's a serious problem in the U.S. There's a lot of people that lose their lives with the flu, but because this new germ, this new virus, we don't know that much about it, and even the experts are still trying to figure it out. And so when we don't understand, there's just some fear that takes place, and so people are doing crazy things and buying up toilet paper and all those things. And really, what we do know is that it's a virus, and that virus is not like your typical virus that just stops in the sinus cavity. It's not a rhinovirus, but it migrates down into the lung cavity and into the lung fields. And so lung tissue is very sensitive. It's very tender. It's easy to be damaged. And so viruses are not really, they're protein molecules, but they have their own DNA and they can't reproduce on their own. And so they have to find a host. And the host is those lung tissue cells. And so it drills a hole in the side of a cell and it inserts its DNA into that cell. Now, we know that cells, their job is to create other cells. And so they're like a printing press. They just make cell after cell after cell. And the virus basically gets in there and takes over that printing press. And so it reprograms it, uses its own DNA, and it starts reproducing more virus inside that cell until that cell can no longer hold that quantity, and it explodes. And as it explodes, so there's that cell dies, but it spreads that virus DNA to the surrounding tissues. And so it starts off as just one or two small little cells, and it just it replicates and replicates until the patient begins having symptoms because they're having so much cell death. And so that's how the virus gets in there, and that's why it's difficult. It's a little more difficult than just your common cold, or it's certainly a big issue compared to things we've dealt with in the past.
Wow. Well, that explanation, that really does shed a lot of things. So I know a lot of people are trying to do social distancing right now. A lot of people are staying home. Businesses are closing. Everybody's doing their best to avoid it. And I think there might be a misconception that there's not a lot that core medics could be doing to help patients right now, but I think that's not true, right, Dr. Hill? Is there things that core medics can be helping patients with right now?
Well, absolutely. And when you look at the philosophy of what we do as alternative medicine is that we work with the body's immune system. We work with keeping the body in tune with the nervous system. So when we're talking about a virus, this virus called coronavirus, we have to kind of think of this as we're in a world of technology. So technology, we have computers, right? And these computers, if we're not careful, we can get a virus on a computer. And what happens when we get a virus on a computer is that we lose communication with the motherboard. And what happens is it slows down our surfing the web. It can cause different glitches into our system. And so what we do is we want to be like an antivirus. Is we want to keep building up the immune system by allowing that communication from body to brain to be in contact and to be at its best peak performance. And we also have to understand that our immune system, a lot of it can be suppressed by the foods we put in our mouth, our environmental behaviors that we do, and things like that. So what we do is we educate and we help people to understand and teach them how to build that immune system up. And we also attack it with functional medicine, allowing functional medicine to keep that immune system strong. So think about your immune system as a watchman on a tower. So When we're talking about an invader coming in, someone coming to attack you, we want to make sure that we have troops on the ground and that we can quickly identify that intruder, and we have to have communication to the troops to make sure that they can execute their mission. So that's kind of what we want to do, is we want to maintain the immune system's strong forces.
Yeah, Doc, I like that that example of the watchman on the tower. You know, in World War II, the Germans decided they were going to fight a battle, but they decided they were going to fight multiple battles at the same time in multiple different directions, and so they spread themselves too thin. And so, when you're under stress, when you're not getting enough sleep, when you're worried, when you're eating poorly, you're smoking, you're doing all these things that run your body down. It doesn't just run your body; it runs your immune system down. Mm-hmm. And so, if your immune system is under all this stress and it's fighting all these battles, and then you get the virus, your body's going to have a harder time fighting it if you're fighting multiple battles at once. And so that's another thing. As wellness practitioners, we help patients identify those things in their lifestyle, in their diets, all the things he said, and help them to allow their immune system to express itself at its full potential. So it's like getting your car tuned up. If you're only running on, it's an 8-cylinder, and you're only running on 6, that's a problem. So,
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think because a lot of people are worried about catching the virus, they're worried about leaving their homes. What are some things that you guys are doing to take precautions to protect people if they do want to come in for treatment?
Great question. So what we are doing is we are making sure that we have common areas wiped down every hour. Doctors are wearing gloves to protect any kind of transmission or anything like that with patients. We use tools like an activator. We wipe that activator down with alcohol wipes, making sure that the platforms and equipment that patients are under are being wiped down after every use.
Just to add to that, the majority of the patients we see are not sick patients, and so the majority of those, vast majority, are patients that are well, and so we're not bringing a bunch of sick people together. So that's number one. Number two, we also are screening at the front door. If someone comes in and they've got any one of those symptoms that's on the list for coronavirus patients, then we just ask them to reschedule their appointment and give it some time to see if it is coronavirus. This time of year, a lot of people just have allergies, and so people get nervous. Oh, somebody's coughing. Well, it can be an allergy, or sniffing can be an allergy. So we just give them time. We say, let's reschedule your appointment. Let's get you back at a different time. And so we also are even offering appointments where for people that are at high risk, we might set up an appointment for them at a time when there's no one else in the office. And so we've been doing that. So we're trying to be as flexible as we can to protect patients. 80% of the people that catch this do not have any symptoms at all. And so we know that focusing on the immune system is a really big deal because those folks, it's almost like they have a secret weapon. They are able to, their bodies fight this off. So we help people in many regards to get their health moving forward. And we even have some options that we're able to help folks with some things that they can do at home. They never even have to come into the office. And so that's actually pretty groundbreaking as well.
Wow. So they could actually, possibly talk to the doctor and have some treatment options at home without ever having to step foot in the office.
Correct. That's correct.
Wow, that's great. And I know you all made a post last week on the Facebook page about if someone was really worried. We have a large waiting room here. People can easily keep that 6 feet distance if they needed to, but if someone was really worried but they still wanted to come in for treatment, you guys even gave the option that they could stay in their car and be called.
That's correct.
If they wanted to avoid the waiting room altogether. So like you said, there's a lot of ways that we're taking preventative measures. So that's great.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you all so much for your time and for educating the community on what we're doing and what we can offer to help during this time.
Appreciate it.
Thanks again.
Thank you.